Hey everybody, I'm Riccardo Zottoli. I run an email marketing agency where we help our clients make anywhere from 30 to 50% of their revenue just from emails alone. And in this video, I'm going to explain to you how our emails generate revenue through psychology and which better way to explain it other than actually showing you how we do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an email that I have been sent from a skincare brand, and what we're going to do is we're going to analyze it, identify all its weak points, and finally improve the email explaining every single reason behind my decisions. Enough with the talk, let's get right into it. So this is the email that I have been sent from this skincare brand, and it's called Oskia. It's a welcome email. So the email that you receive as soon as you subscribe to their newsletter in exchange for a discount code. So first of all, we have the brand logo, which is something important, right? You need to know who sent you this email in case you didn't see the sender name. However, in this case, this logo is taking too much space, since the space and the time you have to convey your offer in an email is really limited. And then we have a ton of text, which is a welcome note from the founder, as you can see here. And this is a good thing, right? But there's a much better way to frame this, and we're going to see it later. So the first thing I advise you to do is prepare a folder with everything you need. So the brand's logo, some of the brand's photo shoots, brand's color, fonts, and everything you need to make this email as related to the brand as possible. So now I created this blank project on Canva, which is the software I use. You can also use Figma or whatever you want. Photoshop is good also. The dimensions are 600 pixels of width, because that's optimal for emails. And then for the height, you decide whether you want to go with a really tall email, so maybe 5,000, or you can do something shorter, so maybe 2,000 to 3,000 and a half, you know? But this really depends on the content that you want to put inside your email. In this case, we're going to do something around 3,000 and a half. So first of all, we're going to add a background color, and this is completely optional, but I feel like sometimes this is good as long as the chosen color is not a punch in the eye, you know? So what I like to do is take one of the brand's photo shoots and choose a color from the image and choose a lighter one. So this is really good. We already have something that is personalized and that is in line with the brand's color. And the next thing I'm going to do is place our brand logo right up here at the top. I don't want it to take too much space. We just need to know who sent us this email. You don't need a big ass logo at the top of your email. It's not optimal for emails. Next thing, I'm going to take this image that I took from the brand's website or socials. You can also use the Instagram pictures they upload, and I extended it so that it can contain everything from the banner to the offer. And this is what 90% of people will see, as the main thing they want is to get their discount code and go shop. Now, right over the image, I'm going to put a banner with a unique selling point of the brand, which is free UK shipping for orders over £25. So now we're going to just place the text right here and center it, and we're good. Now, in the hero section, we need to place our offer and our CTA with the button. Now, I'm going to assume you already know something about copywriting, so quickly I'm going to say that the less words you use, generally, the better. So you need to write something catchy and something that takes zero effort to read and that goes straight to the point. Something along the lines of £10 off right here at the top, and you can use a font. I like to use Archivo Black here on Canva. That's good. And since you want the offer to stand out, you have to choose a color that is in contrast with the background. So I would choose a white in this case. Now below here, I'm just going to copy this text and write our discount code, which will be, I don't know, welcome. Let's lower the size of the text, and up here we're just gonna write something like use code welcome, and then we're gonna need our button. You need a button that stands out, but don't focus too much on the aesthetic of the button. You just need to sell the click. Remember that. So big white button is more than enough. You're just gonna add some text over it, something like shop now. Let's just make it a little bit bigger and we're good. So now this is the hero section. It's finished. It's everything you need and everything that the reader needs to actually claim the offer and go shop on the site. So this way we just solved the first two problems in the email. The second part of the email is dedicated to welcoming the reader into the brand's newsletter. And here you can see a lot of text, which is basically a note from the founder. And these big blocks of text are usually counterproductive as they get the user bored really quick. And to solve this problem, I would divide all this text into 2 or 3 mini blocks. So let's see how to do it. So first of all, I want to divide the second section from the hero section. And to do that, I'm going to just simply use a splitting line and just make it a little like that. And let's just have a big subtitle saying welcome to Oskia. And I'm going to choose a color that I'm going to take from the hero section like that. You see, it creates a really good harmony with the hero section. You see, it creates a really good harmony with the image in the hero section. Now let's write our first paragraph, and we're just going to take it from the email. Of course, let's color it with the title's color, and let's make it a little bit smaller, like that. We'll then divide the paragraphs with images from the brand, or even with simple split lines. So now let's take this image, but this is too big, of course, so let's just make it shorter, like that. And we already have the first part of our welcome note. Now the next paragraph talks about what you can expect from the brand's newsletter. So I would create a smaller subtitle that says something along the lines of what to expect, like that. And we're just going to make it smaller, like that is good. And then we're just going to place the text, of course not this big. For this I would choose a different font. Open Sans is good also. Give it a color and make it a little bit smaller. Now for the main paragraphs, you can center them into the email. However, doing this too often is not advisable for 2 reasons. So the first reason is people read from left to right, not including Arabic. So you want to keep your text that way. And the second reason is placing everything in the middle will lower the importance of the paragraphs that you actually want your audience to read. So let's place this text on the right, like that, and make it a little bit smaller, like this. Finally, let's color it with the brand's color, and we're good. Now I would skip this part and go over to the next one, and finally here we see the actual offer. You cannot imagine how much this hurts your sales and conversions, as you don't want your reader to keep scrolling on the email in search of the discount code, which in this case blends with everything else and it's not really standing out as it should be. So now we have a part of the email that I really liked, and it's the reasons to shop with us, and I thought I'd recreate it by taking the brand's image and removing the background, and this includes also the text. In this case, to keep the text on the left, I would just flip the image. Now I would just add a little subtitle with reasons to shop with us, like that. I would just place it right up here, add a split line, and let's take this one from the top, center it, and now I'll quickly rewrite the list next to this image. Now I'll finally just repeat this split line to separate this section from the next one. Now the next really big mistake in this email is that the offer has only been displayed once throughout the whole email, and this hurts conversion massively. But why? Imagine you're scrolling through the email because you still haven't found a reason to buy from this brand or a product that you like, but right at the end of the email you see a product that you like. In this case, you would have to scroll through the email looking for the offer which is not displayed correctly. And in this case, you would have to scroll through the email looking for the offer which is not displayed properly and is only present in one single point. And eventually you would get tired and leave the email. Now to solve this problem, we're just going to add a little CTA with a button here, and we're going to do the same thing at the very end of the email. Now for the text, you can change it a little bit and write something along the lines of use code welcome at checkout for £10 off your first order. Just like that, and then you add a big button that needs to be in contrast with the background. So let's make something like this. Then let's add a little text to it, so something along the lines of shop skincare. And to make this button a little more visible, I would color it black so that it has a really good contrast with the background, and add the white text over it like that. Now this is already looking really good like that. Now this is already looking really good and a lot better than the original email. Now I added this because we want to add our shopping conditions for the discount code, as you want to be 100% clear with your audience. So I'm just going to take the text from the email and paste it down here. Let's just use this font and make it a lot smaller and not bold. Let's give it a color and make it smaller like that, and we're good. Now I really like this bestsellers part, as it gives the customer a lot of products to choose from. If you display just one product, they might not be interested in it and walk away. Instead, if you display multiple products, of course not more than 2 or 3, they might find something that is worth buying or that they are interested in. Now the only thing that I don't like here is that there's nothing that actually tells the customer how to buy this single product. Of course, if you go over it with your finger or click on it with your mouse, you will be directed to the page. But a better way to do this is to create a CTA or a button for every single product, so it's very clear to the customer what they have to do in order to purchase the product. So now again, let's use our split lines to separate our sections and add a subtitle saying something like our best sellers. Again, something simple, you just want to go straight to the point. Now what I like to do in this section is have a zigzag flow. So I'm going to have an image on the left with the text on the right, and an image on the right with the text on the left. And for the text, you can use the same one as you see in the email. So like this, you just have your images, one on the left, right, and left again. And then you're just going to add the product name. And then after the product name, you just add the product description, a very short one. And then you just add a big button so that the reader knows what he has to do in order to purchase this item. And then of course you do the same thing for the 3 products. And just like that, you're going to have your bestsellers section that is going to convert a lot more than the original one. And then, as I said earlier, we're just going to copy and paste this CTA with the button so that the reader has no problem in finding the buttons to actually purchase the items. And of course, you can change the text to shop bestsellers. And of course, extend the button's width like that. Now in the final part, I will have a very, very important section, which is the headers section. So we'll have different buttons for every single category in the brand's website. So now I would add a big button that takes all the email with, I would do no background and a border with the same color as the one we chose earlier. And right in the middle, I would just have text for the main categories of the brand. So shop bestsellers. And then I would do the same thing for other 2 or 3 categories. So maybe shop all and then shop new in like this. And why do we put this here instead of at the top like most brands do? So many of our studies show that putting them at the top actually hurts conversions. And this is for basically the same reason as we have multiple buttons through the email. So at the very beginning of the email, the reader might not have found something that they're interested in, like this, and I inverted the order of these two so that we don't have 2 bestsellers buttons one next to each other. But why do we put these buttons down here instead of at the tip top like many brands do? Many of our studies show that putting these buttons at the top actually hurt conversions, and the reason for this is the same reason why we put buttons all over the email. So at the beginning of the email, the reader might not have found something that they're interested in. Instead, if you put these buttons down here, you have a higher chance that they have found something that they like and that they want to purchase from you. Now I added a little support button down here, and I'm going to add the brand's logo without a background so that it blends better. And then of course you add the links to the brand's socials so that they follow you there too. And at last you'll have to add all the legal stuff below here, so the unsubscribe or the change preferences button. And that is mandatory. You cannot skip those parts in your emails. Now comparing these 2 designs, I can confidently say that the first one will drive more conversions to our website and of course more sales for all the psychological reasons I've listed earlier in the video. So yeah, Remember to always match the brand's colors and tone. By doing this, you will effortlessly create a good connection with your audience and have loyal customers and recurrent orders, which is what we want, right? So this is what I do and how I do it. And if you're a 6, 7, or 8-figure business, hit me up because I would love to work with you on your email strategy because you're probably leaving 30 to 50% of your revenue on the table, and I will help you take that. Anyways, if you have found this video useful, hit the like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey, if you're seeing this, it means that you have stayed up until the end of the video, and I appreciate you a lot. So to thank you, in the description, I added a link to a Google Drive folder with all of the designs I have made in the past few months for you to take inspiration from and improve your work. Thank you, G.